Hey gorgeous, welcome to Happy Go Fabulous. I am so thrilled that you're here. This is our space where we get real about life, the good, the messy and all the juicy bits in between. Real talk, real life and a whole lot of delicious living. But I must warn you, listening may cause unexpected outbreaks of fabulousness and real life magic. Hi, I'm Catherine and I am so incredibly passionate about helping inspired, motivated, impact-driven, freedom-seeking people just like you to do the deep inner work to create those beautiful outer wonders in life. It's all about revolutionising your relationship with yourself, where you fall madly, deeply in love with who you are and create a life so fabulous you can't wait to jump out of bed every morning to live it. Ready? Because ordinary living is so last season. Life's waiting and it's time to make it fabulous. Let's shimmy on in. Today's chat is just going to be so interesting. I'm here with Claire Miles, my guest, and we're going to talk about something that I'm super fascinated about, how the mind works. Claire is a branding photographer and a visual strategist who helps women to show up online looking and feeling like the fabulous business queens that they are. She's the creative brains behind Oak Street Creative Co., where she captures beautiful, relaxed, personality-packed branding photos. And she also has the Visual Strategy Lab, which is Claire's membership that takes your photos and turns them into the strategic, scroll-stopping content. So basically, she makes it all easy and fun to be seen online. So she's kind of our online bestie. Claire also lives with Aphantasia, and that's what we're going to dive into today. And I'll let Claire tell you about what that is. But it adds this really unique twist to her creative process. And she's really passionate about sharing and normalising what aphantasia is. She co-hosts the Facebook group Aphantasia Australia, a supportive space for Aussies who have aphantasia, and it's a space for them to connect, to share, and to really learn from each other. And she's about keeping things real. She's about keeping things fun and having a laugh and making life and business look good without the overwhelm. So I feel like we're bits of soul sisters there. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. That was an amazing intro. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so looking forward to this. And Claire and I belong to a couple of membership networking groups. And in one of them, we were chatting about, we were just chatting about a whole lot of random things. And the conversation came up about Claire had just discovered that she had aphantasia. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there was another friend of mine only a couple of days prior that had mentioned that they had just discovered they had aphantasia as well. So my ears pricked up and I'm really intrigued to find out all about it with you, Claire. But before we dive into that, because I know once we dive in, we'll go down some deep rabbit holes. Tell us, where are you coming to us from today?
I'm on the Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia.
In Australia. Beautiful. And what stage of life are you at?
Well, I'm in my empty nester sort of stage of life, kind of nearly almost there. My son is 18 and he is working now and he's totally independent. And he knows everything, so I don't have to do anything anymore.
Oh my gosh. And is he living nearby or is he
Yes,
away?
well, he does live, he lives with his dad during the week. He works down in Sydney. Actually, he's just started working out at Nepean Hospital.
Oh, that's where I was born.
Oh, really? Yes. They're it's funny because someone asked me, where's Jackson working? And I was like, oh, he's at Nepean Hospital now. And they sort of looked at me weird. I was like, oh, he's not a doctor. So they're doing a new build. So he's working on that. So he would usually pop up and see me on weekends, which is great because we can hang out and relax together and he can do his own thing. I can do mine, or we can meet in the middle. So it's a real pleasure.
It is a pleasure, isn't it? That empty nester. Where I was interested when you were saying you sort of kind of nearly, we're in that stage too, where my kids are.
Move out.
No, I don't want them. My daughter moved back in, which is great. But then it's kind of like, oh, she was living around the corner. That was great. And then she's moved back in, which is good. And then she'll be gone soon. So it's a not, yeah, I love it. I love just having them around. I love
Yeah,
having them around.
yeah.
It's good fun. It's good fun.
He's got some kind of idea that he wants to go and work in the mines.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
That's a long way
a
away.
long way away.
What about
A long way down.
yeah. That's it'd be a good experience though,
It
wouldn't
would.
it?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good experience, but
Yeah.
not forever.
No.
I think, yeah. And you are a branding photographer. Have you
Yes.
always done that? Has that been your
I've been a photographer my whole life,
yeah.
really, and a lot of my time was spent doing family photography.
Oh, yeah.
That was my sort of thing that I did when Jackson, my son, was younger, because it was a weekend type situation, which
Yeah.
was great because my husband at the time could look after him on the weekend and I could go out and do some work. So it was a bit more like a side hustle for me. And I started branding. I was doing a little bit, but probably started just before COVID.
Oh, cool.
And then as you mentioned before, like in that, I went into a networking group for women in business and mainly course creators, and found a whole bunch of women that needed images and
Yeah.
visuals for the business. And as you know, as we grow and work on ourselves and make a better website or make better
Yeah.
social media, we needed better visuals. So
Yeah.
and,
And I really love what you were saying, Claire, when I was introducing you about really making it fun and look
yeah,
good without the overwhelm, because socials can just be,
mm,
it can be overwhelming. It can
yeah,
really be overwhelming. And how do you show up? And so if people will have your details in the show notes as well, but Oak Street Creative Co., if you follow Claire on socials, you'll get a snapshot of her own social media, but also work that she's done. And it really, you embody that energy. Like you talk about having fun and showing up without the overwhelm. That shows through the work you do.
absolutely. I always say when I'm booking someone in for a shoot, and let's face it, nobody likes getting their photos
No, no,
taken.
no.
That's
Yeah,
like overwhelming just thinking about it. But I say it's just like hanging out with a mate, having a
yeah,
coffee, trying on some clothes,
yeah,
hamming it up. I've got
yeah,
the music on. I've got my studio here on the coast, so I can make it look like however that my client wants it to look, match their branding, and yeah, we have fun. And it's
Actually, your studio looks gorgeous. I haven't been there, but I've seen a lot of it, and you've got different spaces where people can use it and you can set it up. So you get a brief, don't you, from the client and what they're sort of wanting to, their brand and how they're wanting to show up and match that
yeah.
with your photography.
So I started photography and doing the branding, and
Yeah.
then I was seeing that no one was really using their photos, and
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah,
why
sure.
aren't you
Yeah,
using them? And they're like,
yeah,
oh, I don't know how to use them. I don't know what to do. Like, put a photo up of me and go, hi, it's me. This is me.
yeah,
I'm going to introduce myself. And then I'm like, why aren't they on your website then? And they're like, well, I'm just waiting for the web designer or the
yeah,
logo or
yeah.
branding. And I'm like, I can do all of that.
Oh,
Let's
cool.
create a place where I can do everything for you and really take away that overwhelm.
Yeah,
And I sort of work with my clients based on that. If I've done their branding, I've got an idea of that message and
yeah,
everything that they want to convey and how they want to be. And then that goes straight into the photo shoot, which we talk about first, and what they're going to wear and what they're going to do and what they need the photos for. And then, yeah, we have the shoot, and then all of that goes into the social media.
Oh,
It
that's cool.
just, you know, I love being creative. That's my jam. That's my thing. And not everyone,
Yeah,
loves it like I do. And people are experts in their field. That being a woman in business, it's very hard because you have to put on all the hats. And
yeah.
sometimes you don't want to.
I
And
love that so much, that because, and I find that, like, I'm good at what I do, but then being online and on socials, that's a whole separate skill. And there are some bits to learn, but to really embody that, I think it's about working with a team to be
Yeah,
able to bring that vision alive. And if you can do the whole bit, that's amazing. So all the women out there that are in business that need some assistance with that, well,
yeah,
Claire's details are in the show notes.
yeah.
And do you know what I found really interesting? So when we were catching up the other week, and you mentioned that you have recently discovered that you have aphantasia, and I probably wouldn't have been so aware of it had I not been talking with a friend about it only, I think it was only a few days previously. Can you tell us what aphantasia is?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole thing just blew my mind because, like, you don't know you have it. It's one of those things that, I mean, I'm in my 50s, very, very early 50s, get me on there. And that's when I found out, when I turned 50. And so it's the inability to have the mind's eye, I suppose. It's the inability to be able to shut your eyes and visualize something or anything at all. So when if the what I've sort of figured out is that the way that people sort of say it is, picture an apple.
Yeah.
And you can either picture an apple when you shut your eyes, you can see it as a photo or a drawing or a shape. When I shut my eyes, I see in black, nothing,
Mm,
zero.
mm.
And yeah, so that's what it is, the inability to see or visualize anything, which is like crazy to me.
Oh my God, we are just going to unpack that because for me, I think I'm probably the opposite. I have a
Yes.
really visual mind. So when you say about picture an apple, I can picture that apple and I can see. So my apple's cut in half and I can see the seeds and I don't have to close my eyes around it. And I can see those little dewdrops, from when you cut it and the moisture and even just the color. So I have a very visual
You might have hyperphantasia.
hyperphantasia.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I just am
Opposite.
so intrigued because just how the mind works and how it works differently. There's no right or wrong, better than. It's about how does it
Yeah.
work for us or not work for us. But how did you find out? How did
I was,
you know?
I think I had a podcast on in the background or the radio or something like that. And it just sort of caught my ear. And I was like, hang on a second, what are you talking about? Isn't that normal that you can't see it? Like, and then all of these things came flooding to me, like you not a meditation, but a relaxation.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
close your eyes, picture
yeah.
yourself walking along the beach. And I'm like, I'm not going to put my hand up in one of those and go, I can't see anything. So, and
Mm,
that's one of the reasons why you don't really find out about it, because
mm,
you're not going to sort of walk around. It just seems completely normal.
mm.
Another thing was counting sheep. I've been trying my whole life to count sheep, to relax, to go
Yeah.
to sleep. And I shut my eyes and I'm like, how do people count sheep when you can't even see them? What and who chose sheep? And and then I'm like wide
It's like I'm wide awake as to why this. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So yeah, so all of a sudden, so many things
Yeah.
made so much sense to me.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And I could imagine, I'm not sure if this is true for you, but because I do a lot of meditations, I personally meditate, but I run meditations and I do hypnosis and I've learned some skills not to always say picture or imagine. Sometimes it's about the way that you can tap into the feeling of and things, but it's not, we don't automatically just see things. People don't automatically or ever see things.
No,
So, and there's a lot of guided meditations, there's a lot of guided visualizations. They're probably not useful for you.
absolutely not. More
Absolutely
frustrating.
not. Yeah.
More frustrating. But now I know I don't have to
Yeah,
try
yeah.
and do that anymore because it's
Yeah.
not something I can do.
Yeah.
So I'm still at that sort of stage where I'm learning to work out how I can. And I think more sort of relaxing music and that kind of thing and will help me to relax or go to sleep
Yeah.
rather than someone asking me to picture myself
Yes.
relaxing somewhere relaxing.
What about? I've been doing a really deep dive into some personal healing and personal growth stuff. And I visualize myself sort of 6 months, 12 months from now.
Mm.
And what would help you in a process like imagining? Would it be feeling what you're like in 6 months' time? What would be useful for you from my instructing point of view? Yeah.
I don't know. I really
Ah,
don't. I think
okay.
like this is another thing that you've just made me think about is that I've never had that when when I was little. I never had that when I grow up. I want to be and I want to do
Yeah.
and I want to wear and
Yeah.
I never had like the ideal wedding dress or the ideal man
Yeah.
or the ideal house or job. Like I had
Mm.
spirit. Like I basically would go from day to day.
Yeah.
And not that I didn't have aspirations or
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but I just never sort of had that. And a couple of years ago, I did once do a plan of the year ahead.
Yeah.
It was an absolute disaster.
Do you know what? I remember when we were having a chat off air about planning for the podcast, and we are talking about a whole lot of. I think you were saying, now that you've got this awareness and you're sort of thinking about how you can utilize it, things have ended up being a little bit overcomplicated for you. I think you were sort of saying that some stuff was not running as smoothly as it used to. What,
Yeah,
yeah, what I find is sometimes when we put the spotlight on something, bring it to the surface, it gets really clunky and it's not easy. So it's what I think you're doing is bringing it to the surface, sort of this awareness, but then it will become a natural way of operating again, I would think.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm an artist. I'm a
Yeah,
visual
yeah,
artist.
yeah,
And it's funny because people have been blown away. They're like, "Oh my god, you're a
yeah,
photographer. How do you
yeah,
do anything?" And
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh, and that's right." I started to think about, "Oh my gosh, how do I do things?
mm,
Should I start doing things differently? Should And now and then things kind
mm,
of went a little bit wonky, and
yeah,
I got a bit wobbly, and I was like, "Wait a sec, just step
yeah,
back. It's fine. Just carry on because I am successful in what I do, and
yes,
I do not need to change anything."
no,
And I think the way I work, I think if I was able to create an image in my mind of, say, what a shoot was going to look
yeah,
like, and it never turned out like that in the end, I'd be really disappointed because I'd be like, well, that's what it was supposed to look
yes,
like.
yeah,
And I don't, I can't get disappointed if it looks better than the pitch black that I see when
yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm
Do you know
doing.
what? I've had that because I have very specific visions, and sometimes if things don't work out, it's just like, oh, damn. So it does build, not in all situations, but it does build some expectation. I remember at uni, like 100 years ago, we were doing this self reflection piece and we had to observe ourselves learning something new. And I was playing golf at the time and I was actually playing really well. And I went, this will be perfect. Like, I'll use my golf as my uni assignment and I'll get even better. And it had the opposite effect. I was shit. Like, it really, because I was bringing it to the surface, I was
Yeah,
getting too conscious about what I was doing naturally. And it was just overcomplicating the whole thing. And since then, I did not enjoy golf and I didn't pursue golf because I overcomplicated
yeah,
it and stuff. So I would suggest maybe um, do what you do if that's worked for you.
yeah. I can't.
Yeah,
Like I really want to delve deep into this and
yeah,
like work all the things out and learn all the things. But I'm like, I can't. I have to wait until I'm retired, you know,
yeah,
to
yeah,
really to figure it out.
Yeah. So how does it work for you then? And I know we've just said not to, because
Yeah.
we are going to put the spotlight on it, and then you can unspotlight it after the podcast. But how does it work? Because being a photographer, and it's hard, I think, to unpack what you do automatically anyway. But how does it sort
Mm.
of how how does that work for you if you don't visualize
Well,
stuff?
it just comes to me, really, and that sounds so naff.
No,
It
that's all
comes to me. It doesn't come to me in a bloody picture.
right. Mm.
It's a feeling. It's more like a feeling, and like I'm designing a brand for a client right now, and so she does a questionnaire for me to start with, and same with my photography clients. It's all about a questionnaire, and I can sort of learn more about them. And then I can, if I'm designing the logo, it's just a matter for me of sort of doing bits and pieces, adding things, taking them away,
Yeah.
changing, moving until it looks good to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I won't sort of go away and think about how I want it to look. I
Yeah.
will just create it in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what happens in the photography side of it too. You know, like I know my clients want a photo of them at their desk with their computer or on the phone or walking or sitting on the couch or reading. And I know enough about
Yeah.
them and their personality and to be able to guide them in what they should wear for each section. But then I just look through the camera and I move around
Yeah.
until I've figured it out,
Yeah.
until it looks perfect.
Mm.
And that's how I create. It's just, and you know, it's got to be something that I can see
Yeah.
for it to be finished, I suppose.
Yeah.
I tell you what blew me away though is that I did sort of go down a bit of a rabbit hole and I was listening to, and I can't remember if it was just listening to another podcast on this particular subject or if it was someone that I was talking to, and it could have even have been you, Catherine, like someone said about reading a book.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do when you're reading a book? And I'm like, well, I just read the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this other person said, oh, well, I kind of will read the story and I will, you know, picture the,
Yeah, I
say
know
it's,
who that was. That was on the chat where where
yeah,
you mentioned you'd found out about it. One of the other women, I think it was Emma, had
that's right. It was
mentioned
Emma.
there, and
Yeah.
she had
But I think
mentioned, yeah,
and another fellow on this podcast that I was listening to, he said that he gets to the point where he will actually put the book down and like say if it's walking through a house or whatever, he'll put the book down and he will walk through the house and go into the bedrooms and open the wardrobes and do stuff like that, open the curtains, walk around, go down to the kitchen. And I'm like, oh my goodness me, is that even like, are you
I hope
okay?
he's, I hope he's not reading a murder book.
Yeah, right.
And I just have to go and stab, 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 and then
He's just seeing
yeah,
the book through his
yes,
mind
yeah,
and creating the story. Whereas I'm just like, once upon a time, you know, like
yeah,
that's why I love it when movies are made,
yeah,
you know, from books because no, like, you know, people that read, they hate that. Oh, ugh.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's like because they've already seen the movie
yes,
as they've read the
yes,
book.
yes. And that's where it doesn't turn out, where they go, the movie was so different to what they imagined or
Yeah,
what they had built up in their mind. So you don't have that because you haven't had that imagery in your mind.
nothing, just reading
No,
the words.
no. It's interesting when you were describing about your creative process of your photography. Like I am visual. I can see things very, very clearly. But when I am creating something, I go through a very similar process to you as well. So I don't generally have the visual that comes in. It's more about the feeling and in the moment. And there's a little bit of knowing, you know, that there's something just not quite right.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when I get dressed of a day, I do visualize what I'm going to wear.
Oh, that's
So
right.
yeah,
And
we
you
talked
said
about
that
this.
to
So when
me.
I get, yeah,
When you wake
just
up in the morning, you lie in bed and go, what shall I wear
what
today?
should I
I
wear
mean,
today?
I couldn't even picture what was in my wardrobe. If I pushed my
Oh,
eyes tight shut and tried as hard as I couldn't even,
yeah,
I'd just have the feeling like I've got jeans in there and
yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't put an outfit together before I got out of bed.
yeah. And then you go and actually
But then
get
I
the
had to
outfit.
go through the wardrobe and
Yeah, I do. Mine's a very visual but mood dressing. I have to be just, I couldn't do it the night before because that's too much planning. And I find it really a bit challenging because I travel interstate for work regularly and I try and plan the night before, but it's just like, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel in the morning. But when I'm getting up at 4 o'clock, it's kind of like, yeah, we do need to plan a little bit. So I
yeah,
just get it out and do my visualizing. So it's interesting, isn't it? So there's bits that are same, bits that are different,
yeah,
and the end result. And I think when you were sharing that, I think the energy from your individual photographs and your social media, and also the energy of the people that you do work for, maybe that shows up more because that's what you're bringing. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
that
yeah.
shows up more. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought more about that. What about memories? How does it work for you with memories, like remembering what you did yesterday or last year or?
I don't know so much about memory. Like, no, I couldn't picture a certain holiday or whatever. I can
Mm,
remember the feeling of it and maybe the
mm,
smells. I
mm.
am really good at facial recognition.
Yeah.
So if I see someone in the street and I can be like, I know I've met that person before, and it could be a long, long time ago,
Yeah.
but I couldn't picture where from or how or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
memories are tough because it's hard to I can't bring anything up
yeah,
as a memory.
that's interesting. So a photo would trigger it though for you.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes. So
photos or something would trigger the memory.
yeah.
But if I said to you, what did you have for lunch? Actually, I would find it hard to. Um, but what did you have for lunch yesterday?
Well,
You just know.
what did I have for lunch
Actually,
yesterday?
I can't think. That's a dumb question because I can't think what I had for lunch
Hang
yesterday.
on a minute. Do I have aphantasia or dementia?
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's something
No,
because I
actually,
seriously can't think what I had for lunch. I know I had porridge for tea last night.
oh, did you? I had a lamb shank stew for dinner last night. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
can't picture what it looked like.
So it's where we access the information and the memories from. So you can access information, but it's not through the visual representation of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think one really interesting way is to put it is with the memory game, right?
Mm.
So I do you remember that sort of game where you would put things on a tray, like a whistle and a needle and a
Oh, yeah,
pen
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
pack of
yeah,
cards or whatever.
yeah,
And then people would put that down and say, okay, look at this.
yeah.
And then I'm taking the tray away,
Yes,
write
yeah.
down as many things as you can remember that were on that tray. There was 20 things, go. And I'm like, as soon as that tray's gone, I'm like, nah, do not know, cannot remember. It's black. Like I can't
Mm,
physically see that in my mind again.
mm, mm.
And if it was 10 things or whatever, it would be fine because I could sort of almost say pen, book,
Yes,
whatever,
yes, yes.
and remember it that way. But yeah,
Would
it's
you remember, would you be good at the game, the shopping list game?
I
I
don't
went,
think so.
no,
I don't know. I don't. It sounds like that's a no.
no.
But how does it go?
Oh, I think it's very similar to that. Items on a tray, but they say, I went to the shop and I bought a bottle of milk. And the next person goes, I went to the shop, I bought a bottle of milk, packet of chips. And then the next person has to remember them all. So I'm just wondering if
Oh
auditory
yeah,
is a stronger
that could work.
trigger for you if it was like on the tray instead of looking and remembering. But if you went whistle, cup,
Yeah. If it was that
something.
kind of talking
Talking, so
every day,
auditory.
that might work.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. What about at school? How was it at school for you?
Oh, well, I mean, so my mum's just moved into a nursing home, and I'm very surprised that I've just found all of my high school
Yeah,
reports. I don't even know why you would want to keep those, because they
yeah,
were all
yeah,
horrific. I
yeah,
was terrible.
yeah,
I would have been so annoying,
yeah,
but I mean, I
yeah,
was top of the class in art,
yeah,
and I was bottom of the year in pretty much everything
yeah,
else. But
yeah,
it's just because I couldn't recall or retain
yeah,
information. And back then, 80s, 90s way of teaching was, there was one way, and if you
mm,
didn't know or
yeah,
couldn't do it that way, then you were an idiot.
yeah, yeah,
You weren't worth.
yeah,
And there was no other way. Like, it wasn't like, oh, well, maybe let's see if you benefit from this teaching method.
yeah. Even for visual learners, I don't think it was just very generic teaching, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
it's probably good that you and I didn't go to school together, because we probably would have got into a lot of trouble and had a lot of fun. But my school years were, I think I was the bottom of the class in everything.
yeah,
And when I ended up going to uni, which was a real surprise for me that I would even go to uni, and it was when I started work and sort of moved into personal development and staff development and training. And I did go to university, and there was some different, oh, what was it? Oh, it might have been a trainer training workshop that I went on, and they used some visual strategies. And I'm just like, oh, is that a thing? Like you can, and they use different colors to highlight different things and have to different symbols. So when you're taking notes, they would have little codes that you could use. And it's just like, man, that would have been so helpful at school. And I can even now, as I'm doing that, I can visualize those uni notes, and I can visualize the pens that I had to be able to write and code and to color
yeah,
things
right.
in. I don't know if it I don't know if it helped with the outcome, but the
Yeah.
process that made it certainly made the process. And it was about those learning strategies, because my background's about teaching and training and the coaching, so helping others to do it. So that's why I'm fascinated to find out from you about
Mm,
what that's like for you, so I can kind of add bits to my toolkit for
yeah.
others that might also have aphantasia.
Well,
Mm.
it's just very, I think words, I mean, I can
Mm.
remember song words,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
remember songs,
yeah.
and I
So
can,
maybe if your teachers sang to you.
yeah, right? Maybe if they did that. But I remember about maybe maybe 6 or 8 years ago, I was like, I'm going to do a play. There's like a local,
Oh, yeah,
tiny
yeah,
little
yeah,
local
yeah,
group, and I was like, I'm going to be in this play.
yeah.
And oh my word, I couldn't remember my
Yes,
lines. I
yes, yes,
couldn't. It didn't
yeah,
matter how many times I tried to
yeah.
put that information into my brain. My
Mm,
partner, he was doing my lines with me, he remembered the whole thing, and
mm,
it would literally go in my. I would say it, and then it would go,
mm.
and that's another thing about, yeah, I just can't retain that, because
Yeah.
I can't. There's no way, or I haven't learned a way of being able to do that, and
Mm.
also like standing on stage. I think if I was confident enough to get up on stage and just talk without
Yes,
specific reason,
yes,
I would
yeah,
be okay. But if I had
yes,
to deliver a speech and teach people, I would have to just read
yeah,
notes.
yeah,
It's not that I don't know it,
yes,
it's
yes.
just that I would have to read it.
That'd
Otherwise,
be interesting. Oh, gosh, there's so many things going through my mind right now. Some of
and guess what's going through my mind? Nothing.
yeah,
The black, the
because
dark.
I'm thinking about. I was thinking about those study techniques. There was one coaching program that I was doing, and there was a lot of study for it. And there was a coaching, a memory retention strategy that I went through, but it really was based on visual. So you go through the visual, you're recalling, so you're reading your answers, you're recalling them, and then you're also hearing yourself say the responses, and then you're tapping into how you feel about them. So it's using the whole visual, auditory, the kinesthetic combined. You're probably predominantly the auditory and the kinesthetic, so that what you hear, and then but then it's about how do you retain what you hear
Yeah.
is the interesting bit, isn't it? I mean, not saying that I remember, like when I read through your intro, there's no way I would have remembered that either. Like I read that.
No, but that's not
Yeah.
about you. You'd be able to do your own intro
Yeah.
without.
Sometimes it depends. Yes. Sometimes. So,
Yeah.
what about dreams?
Yeah,
Do you
I
dream?
do. I have dreams, and sometimes I
Yeah.
wake up and I think, oh my gosh, just quickly go back to sleep so I can dream again, because I can see
Yes.
in
Yeah.
my dreams. I have very
Yeah.
vivid dreams, and I love it
That's cool.
because I mean, I don't love all my dreams.
No.
They are quite strange, but I can
Yeah.
see. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a movie.
One of the things I do of a nighttime, I set a nighttime intention if I'm ever wanting some guidance about something, or if I'm mulling over something, I set that intention of a nighttime that I get the answers or the responses or the guidance. Maybe you could set those intentions that the dreams come to you nice and clearly,
Yeah,
so you've
yeah.
got that state.
One thing that I know does, and I've just figured this out in the last couple of months, is manifestation. So
Yeah.
because we just had the Lion's Gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did a whole bunch of manifestation, and I wrote it on my bathroom mirror.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
And so I sort of repeated it that way over and over again instead of visualizing me.
Yeah.
I did it through words and thinking and just talking in my mind, which don't worry, I can absolutely talk in my head.
Yeah.
Not missing that kind of.
I reckon that's a cool strategy. Yeah.
We have great times.
I think that's an awesome strategy for manifesting, is to have it written out, to speak it, and even if you can remember song lyrics, for me, the manifesting is about how do you want to feel, not necessarily what you want to see. I think the visual is an added bit, but I think your strategy is a really powerful one. I think that's a really powerful one.
Yeah. Well, it does work that way. So I'm good in that sort of section of my life.
Yeah.
And I can build on that.
Yeah. You've set the Facebook group up?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of us in there at the moment.
Perfect. That's awesome. That's awesome.
But you can't, I think I said to you before, you can't invite your friends.
No.
Because nobody knows they have it. And if they do, it's 2% of the population
Is that all?
know that they have it.
Wow.
So it'll be a very slow build, but I feel like I can sort of, talk to you and put the word out a bit more. And I don't know if it's a good thing to know or not. Like, I don't know if I feel like a bit upset that I'm missing out. And would I have liked to have just not known and just kept it? But then again, I can always turn it into a positive and build, different ways of doing things. But yeah, I think that's going to be a nice little sort of side project for me to get on that, because it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think
it fascinates me that people can see stuff in their head.
Yeah, I think it would be, I think it's a great opportunity. So if anybody is out there and sort of going, oh my gosh, I relate to some of what Claire's sharing, the Facebook group is Aphantasia Australia. Is
Yep.
that? We'll have the details in the show notes.
Yes.
And I would also be, it's interesting, isn't it? Am I missing out? Am I doing, I think it's, you've been given your gifts and abilities, and it's about embodying those and being aware, I guess, of what others do, but it's what works for you. And it's,
Yeah, I can't change it now.
you can't change it. This is not a learn and practice thing. This is just how your mind works. Yeah.
And I don't want to mess it up because I'm
No.
doing it well now.
Yeah. So it's kind of that awareness, isn't it? And I think the Facebook group, the community would be really good, just to have a space for people to share and ask and learn and just kind of be together. I would think that that would be very useful in, and I would suggest that you probably each will have some similarities, but there's probably a lot of differences with people in the group as well. So that would be a cool space. That would be a cool space.
I'm sure there'd be lots of aha moments.
Yeah. Any last little tips for anybody that would be useful for them to sort of know, or from what you've discovered already about aphantasia?
Not so much tips. I think it just doesn't matter. Just laugh.
Yeah.
Just laugh at it. If you don't laugh, you cry.
Oh, cool. And tell us, Claire, where can people find you for branding shoots and your...
So my business is Oak Street Creative Co. So that is the umbrella that everything falls under at the moment. And that's the logo, branding, photography, social media strategy, and general fun and laughter.
Fun, laughter and fabulousness.
Yeah.
Can I ask you quickly before we go, where's Oak Street Creative Co. come from? Is that where it's located? What's the...
So when I first moved to the coast, in that new chapter of my life, which was a massive, massive new chapter, I was separated and divorced and moving from what I knew to what I didn't with a new partner. And we're on Oak Street. So I had converted our garage on Oak Street into a small studio, and it was Oak Street Images, which was worked for a while. And then when I decided that I could do more, I changed it. Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, this has been so good. This has been really interesting. So thank you for making the time. And I look forward to... My pleasure. Okay. See you next time, people. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Happy Go Fabulous. I hope you loved it. If you did, could I ask a big favour? Please subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, share the love and let your besties know about the podcast. This will help get it into the hearts and ears of all the gorgeous souls who need a little bit of fabulous in their life. If you'd like some more high vibe happiness in your life, come and visit me on my Happiness Hive socials, and make sure you've signed up to my newsletter, your weekly drop of juicy goodness. Pop over to my Happiness Hive website and click on the link Working with Catherine. I'd love to help you make life amazing. Until next time, keep being fabulous.